Good morning, y'all. This morning we're going to make some homemade buttermilk biscuits and sausage. I prefer hot sausage on my biscuits. You can use any kind you want. This is a 1 pound tube of hot sausage. I just cut them about like that, flatten them out, fry them about 5 minutes each side. You can use bacon if you want. I cook my bacon in the oven, but I do fry my sausage. So first thing I'm going to do is get these fried. I'm about to flip them. They've been just about 5 minutes on that one side. And then we'll do 5 minutes on the other side, and I'm going to get these out of the pan and then start on the biscuits. So a 1 pound tube of sausage for me makes 10 pieces of sausage. You can get more, but as you can see, I like my sausage kind of thick. But I only made 6 pieces. The rest I just put in there. I'm going to ground it up, fry it up, and I'm going to add this to an omelet tomorrow or the next day. If you want, you can make patties out of all of it. Just go ahead and pre-cook them. You can put them in the freezer, get them out, thaw them out. You can warm them up in the oven on 200. You can stick them in the microwave for 20-30 seconds is all you need. Any more than that, they'll be rubber. Good morning, y'all. We're going to make some homemade buttermilk biscuits. You're going to need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 stick of ice cold butter. You can cut it into cubes. I'm about to grate mine. You need some baking soda. You need some baking powder. You need a little bit of salt and a big pinch of sugar. You need either 2/3 cup of cold milk or a whole cup of very cold buttermilk. For now, I'm going to grate this butter, and I'll be right back. The butter's all grated. Again, you can use a box grater, any kind of grater. You can cut this into cubes. It makes no difference. You can use lard. You can use bacon grease. You can use Crisco, vegetable oil. You can use whatever you want as long as it's fat. So we're going to put this back in the refrigerator while I get the dry ingredients together. Okay. Got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And make sure when you scoop it out into your measuring cup, don't pack it down. Just let it be loose and fluffy, because it actually does matter when it comes to baking. You can sieve this if you want to. It's not necessary. You're gonna whisk it up anyway. So then we need a tablespoon baking powder, whole tablespoon. Now, if you're using self-rising flour, you don't need the baking soda or the baking powder. And you won't need the salt unless you're using unsalted butter. Then you'll still need to add the salt. Baking soda. This is 1/4 teaspoon measured, so 1/2 teaspoon. Whisk this all up. Now, you can whisk this as much as you want before you add the buttermilk. And you want to preheat your oven to 450. Get you a baking rack and put some parchment paper on there. Okay. Now I'm going to get our butter back out of the freezer. Almost forgot. You want to add a big pinch of sugar. And then whisk that in. Now, we're going to add our frozen butter. My hands are so hot, it's already sticking to me. I'm going to put a glove on to do this so I don't mess around and melt our butter. Alright, here we go. You really want to mix it up until you have just teeny tiny little pieces of flour covered butter. Just real loosely. You don't want to, destroy your butter. And again, you can use any kind of fat. In a perfect world, I would use nothing but bacon grease, or maybe half bacon grease, half lard. But I don't have any bacon grease right now, so. But you absolutely can't beat that flavor in a biscuit. Especially a homemade one. And the reason I use a grater is because it makes the butter already so small. I don't have to do much mixing. Because this is definitely something you want to do with your hands. You can use a spatula if you want, but it takes, 5 minutes start to finish. Okay. I think that will be good enough. Now, I'm going to make us a little well in the middle for our buttermilk. Now, I'm going to start with a cup of buttermilk. This really kind of depends on how hot your house is, the humidity, and the humidity in here is really bad right now. So I won't be surprised if I have to use a bit more than a cup. What is most important is that you do not overwork this dough. If you keep sitting there mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing, you're going to have rock hard biscuits. And that's not good. And you absolutely want your buttermilk as cold as possible. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, I can already tell I'm going to have to have some more buttermilk. Oh, maybe that's a little bit better. I'm trying, y'all. You just got to bear with me. I'm not used to recording anything. You can see how hot my hands are. Everything's sticking to me. Yep, let me get a little more buttermilk. If I can get it off my hands for just a second. just a little more. Start with about a little over a tablespoon. Now, if you don't have a hot, humid house, you know, 1 cup should be plenty for you. So 1 cup and 2 tablespoons so far. Okay. You can see there's a little bit of dry left in the bottom. I'm going to add just another. That's it. So we'll say for this was 1 cup and 3 tablespoons. And even though this is not completely together, we're going to stop right here. And let me wash my hand real quick, and then we're going to pour this out. You don't even want it to all the way come together before you pour it out on your mat to roll it out. In fact, I'm not even going to stop. Move this for a second. Pour out some flour. You definitely need flour. We're going to dump it out and finish bringing it together with our hands. And yes, you're probably going to make a mess. It's fine. It all cleans up easy. And that is good enough. Sure I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. You want to just finish bringing it together. Flour. Make sure it's not sticking. You can put it in any shape you want. We're not rolling this. We're not folding this. I mean, you can fold it a few times if you want and press it back out if you want layers in yours. Those are really pretty, but we're not going to do any of that. We definitely are not rolling it out. That'll overwork it and we'll have very hard biscuits. Now you want this to be about at least a ½ inch up to 3/4 of an inch thick. And I'd say that is about a perfect ½ inch. All right, let me wash my hands. Okay. Now, you can use a biscuit cutter or a knife. I'm going to use this. This was my grandmother's cup. This cup's probably older than I am. What you don't want to do is twist that cup. Just pull it right back out. If you twist the cutter when you're doing this, you will keep your biscuits from rising properly, because it literally kind of almost closes the edges off. I'll get one more out right here. We really don't want to work the dough again. We're just going to press it back down. It's about a ½ inch, maybe a little more. Perfect round biscuit. You want them about that thick. Now you can make these in advance. What I usually do is make a double or triple the recipe, and I freeze them. You know, you can put 3 or 4 in a Ziploc bag, put a piece of parchment paper, put 3 or 4 more, and these freeze really well, not being cooked. And then that way you can just pull them out of the freezer and cook you up several whenever you need them. This one will just be a very small little, well, it won't be too much smaller than that. A little more flour on that. And there we go. Parchment line, bake pan. You definitely want to make sure they're all touching. We're going to brush on just a little bit more buttermilk. You can use butter, you can use nothing. You don't have to brush anything on, but I like brushing on a little more buttermilk. These are going to bake 450 for 14 to 17 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. Again, it depends on the heat of your oven. But these are going to be delicious. And then we're going to add the sausage in there that we cooked first. And again, if you don't want to cook all these, you know, you can take half of them, put them in the freezer. They're good for sure 3 months. I think up to about 6 months. Mine have never lasted that long in there. So, like I said, you can use regular milk. You can use, I think most people probably make their biscuits with self-rising flour. I make a lot of stuff with all-purpose flour, so it's just easier for me to do it this way. In the oven, 14 to 17 minutes. We'll be back. All right, y'all. $15 minutes. If you like yours browner, you can leave them a little longer. I like mine like this. Now, we're going to get them on a plate and grab the sausage we made. Perfect. They're soft. And that's because we didn't overwork the dough. Oh, this smells so good. Tastes even better. Gonna add a little bit of butter. Oh, they're so tender. I know I'm making a mess, but I don't care. It easily cleans up just like the last mess did. Piece of sausage. I'm also spilling everywhere. You can, make a huge breakfast if you want, but it's really hot here. It was 80 degrees at 7:30 this morning, so yeah, I've got the kitchen heated up more than enough. They're perfect. They're perfect every time. See how soft they are. They're hot. Nothing tops a sausage and biscuit. Actually, something I did not add to this, and you might think I'm crazy, but I urge you to try it. Add a little grape jelly on here. It is so good. Now I'm going to take, so that was 12 biscuits. I'm going to take at least 8 of them, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. And I'm just going to get them out and warm them up every day because it's so hot here. I definitely do not want to make baked biscuits every day. Can't beat that, y'all. Homemade buttermilk biscuits. Takes about 20 minutes. Oh, and these baked exactly 15 minutes. Now I'm gonna go stuff my face. Y'all have a good day. Hey, one more thing, y'all, before I tear into this last biscuit. If you miss the recipe, if you'll look on the right-hand corner of the video, directly under it, you'll see in bold letters the words "Show More." Just click that, and you'll see the full recipe. I type out the full recipe in every one of my videos. In this video, I'm also going to add in the alternative version. If you don't have buttermilk, you can use regular milk. And if you want buttermilk and don't have any or can't find any, you can also use regular milk and a tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. Now, if you do that, get you a measuring cup that has at least a cup measure in it. Pour in your tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, then pour in the regular milk up to 1 cup. I mean, on the measuring cup. Just fill it up to 1 cup after that. Let it sit there for 5 minutes and don't touch it. 5 minutes, then stir it up. And then just stick it back in the fridge until you finish with the dry ingredients and the butter, and then you can pour it in. It does the absolute same thing as buttermilk, because I know sometimes people have a hard time finding buttermilk in their stores. I do too, especially lately. Anyway, I just wanted to add that note. And thank y'all again for watching.